You're listening to the Life in General podcast with Tom and Jay. An hour of informative commentary on today's headlines, current events, and what's going on around the world and around the corner. And now, here are your hosts, Tom and Jay Darden.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Life in General podcast here with Tom and Jay, coming at you live with, I believe, episode 72. Check us down below. Fact check us. Make sure you fact checking everybody you can. You know what I'm saying? Because you just never know who's telling you the truth nowadays. So what can you do?
That's right.
We're going to start this episode off the same way we do every time and ask the man of the hour how he's doing down there in sunny Ecuador and see what's happening. So, hey, Dad, how are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Have been under the weather for a couple of weeks, about 10 days.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, things got pretty funky around the household here.
Right.
Pat and I both were sick, so that's why we missed last week. Sorry about that. We were unable to talk or breathe or swallow.
Yeah, do our regularly scheduled programming. So we appreciate all y'all for sticking around and bearing with us. You know, life happens, as it were, generally speaking.
But you know, it ain't sunny down here, and I've asked a couple of people, "What the hell, man? You know, it wasn't nothing like this last year."
Mm-hmm.
And it's been gloomy every day for about 3 months. The sun came out today, I think, for maybe an hour, and it's like. And then it goes away, and the clouds come back in.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, before it was sunny from 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, till 5:30 in the afternoon, man, all day, every day
Until the end of days, yeah. And that's very fair.
And now it's like everything's cloudy and gloomy, and so.
That's kind of wild. Maybe it's opposite day or something, because we actually have a little bit of something called fall here. You know, the leaves are actually turning colors, and it's actually, now, granted, leaves are freaking everywhere, but they are, they're changing into yellows and reds and oranges and stuff. It actually is quite pretty, albeit a little bit taxing just because there's leaves everywhere, but it's kind of cool, and it's a little bit different. Now, I will say this. Going home when it is dark is mildly annoying, because normally you're driving home and there's at least a little bit of sun. Now, granted, it was right in your face, so it was like,
right.
All right, do you want the sun? Okay, here it is. It's right in your eyes, and it's like, okay, perfect. And then traffic's already a little bit dicey just because, traffic in general. And so it makes it very fun to adjust the old body, right? Because we just had daylight savings time, so...
So a little darkness in the mix, and everybody's out of their minds, huh?
They most certainly are, and it's actually pretty interesting to me how quickly folks can go from, okay, now we're normally doing our standard driving stuff, to now it is like almost pitch black, save for the gigantic moon that was yesterday, and you're just driving behind taillights all the time. Like, that's all it is. So it's all an adjustment. So.
That was supposed to be a lunar eclipse yesterday.
I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be a lunar eclipse or a red moon or something like that.
Well,
but we don't
crazy.
We don't do daylight saving here. So I've got a clock on the wall, and I thought, just leave that one on standard time or central time.
Sure.
So I left it, or I moved it back an hour. So now I can look at my computer, and it's got one time, and look on the wall over here, and it's got another time. So,
okay, there you go.
Yeah, because some of the operation that I do during the day is operated on Chicago time, which is Central Time, which is an hour later, which makes everything crazy. But the good part about it is, the good part is it's 7 o'clock in Chicago, and it's 8 o'clock here, so I don't have to get up as early to do some of that stuff. So.
Well, I was going to say, barring than interacting with myself or somebody up here, I wouldn't assume it would be too big of a deal regardless, right?
Right.
But,
and the people that I normally deal with are in China or Japan or somewhere, and it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night there. Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say, a lot of them most likely won't have daylight savings time either, right? Or do they?
Right. Yeah. No, they don't. They just standard time all the time. Yeah, they don't switch that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
So it's 8 or 9. It'll be 8 or 9 o'clock at night there when it's 7:30 in the morning here. So,
yeah, a lot of goofy, goofy things us whole Americans do, right? Daylight savings time, the imperial system, like having feet and inches as opposed to meters and all that, millimeters, centimeters, etc.
Yeah, that's what I had to get used to down here. They use the metric system here. So it's kilometers and meters and liters and all that kind of stuff. I'm still stuck on miles and yards and feet, stuff like that. And people they just kind of look at you like, what?
Well, hopefully you can find the good middle ground there, but it's all good.
I'm working on it.
Well, that, or maybe you can convert them to the imperial system. Who knows? Maybe that'll be your crusade, the last crusade, as it were.
No, they're stuck in their own time. So
hey,
I'm just excited. I'm excited that they converted over to the dollar because
that was nice.
Yeah. So not losing money in the currency exchange, because right now the Canadian dollar is at like $1.41. So they're losing 41 cents on every dollar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That they pull out of Canada. So these people down here from Canada they're kind of hurting a little bit. So, yeah.
Well, and something to speak on currency exchanges and whatnot, being a part of the international trade business. I think for the first time in a very long time, the U.S. dollar is worth more than the mighty euro. So that was fun to see and think that we've done something wrong, and our currency is actually just above theirs. We may have talked about this earlier and whatnot, but it's been a minute. But it was it was pretty humorous because I thought something was wrong or we did something incorrectly, and no, it just normally is 1.02 or 3 or 4 more than the dollar, and not today, baby. Well, ain't happening for you. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So,
well, you see the supply chain changing, or is it getting bigger or smaller or faster or slower?
Oh, it's always getting bigger. I mean, people are importing things all the time from everywhere, and something that I thought that was kind of interesting as well from a supply chain standpoint is our business guys. A couple of years ago when the Rona was happening, right? The pandemic. There were a very large shortage of space on ships, right? Because they just weren't sailing as much because people weren't going to be able to buy as much or work as much and all this. So then we were the heroes to a degree because we could find you space and get you what you needed, except it would be at an insane margin, right? Because supply and demand, okay? And they're doing a lot of blank sailings where they would just sail and it wouldn't have a nearly full vessel, and then boom, you would just go. Well, now they tell me business is still booming, right? It's still actually pretty good. The problem now is it's less lightning fast speed and no one can assist you. Now business is still good, but you got to be really, really good and really, really thorough at what you do in order to maintain the level of quote unquote worthiness or excellence in the eyes of the importers, which I thought was it's kind of cool because like business ain't stopping. I mean, people are still buying shit. They're still bringing stuff in. They're still importing by an insane margin, right?
And Christmas is coming too.
Oh, yeah. And then this will be the quote unquote first normal one in a while, but it's like, what's normal now? What does that even mean? So,
right. Wow. Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah, kind of different for sure. So,
man, oh man. Oh, and it's kind of course, it's Wednesday after the elections.
It is. We skipped a couple of weeks right at the crux of your message, right? So hopefully things will kind of, the dust will settle and we'll kind of see what's happening. But had some pretty unique numbers already. I mean, if you're looking at just Google in general, I mean, you got 41 GOP seats and 46 Dem seats right now. You have the House. The GOP is actually sitting at 207. Which to me is bananas. Like that's just absolutely wild to me because they've gained 6 seats so far and it takes only a 218 for majority. And the governorship, I mean, you still have more GOP governors than Dems, but, you know, and some of these, there were no elections held. I mean, that just, in some places, it didn't happen. But much to your point, some of these still aren't even called yet. I mean, you have Arizona and Nevada, Alaska, certain places just it's not called, or even in Georgia with Warnock and Herschel Walker. It's going to be a runoff. So that was pretty wild. Like they got some.
You know, that should be very telling right there that neither one of them got 50%. So neither one of them are worthy of having the seat. Mm-hmm. That's what it says to me. If you can't get 50% of the vote in your state, then you don't deserve the position. Mm-hmm. And neither one of them got 50%. So that ought to tell you something right there, that neither one of them guys are worth having the position. So,
well, one of the things it also tells me too is having a third party is very detrimental, because the Libertarian Party got 2% of the vote. So that means you laugh, but like that's the point, right? Is if there was no third choice, you would not have the extra runoff vote. So it's to that end, it might seem kind of humorous, but also too, no, it's not, because that just causes more, I don't want to say more strife, because you do want as many options as possible. But the problem is when they take up 2% and you really just needed 1% for Warnock to take the seat or take the poll, it's like, okay, is that worth it? Like, does that seem like it's actually worth it to say, hey, you got to get this, when a different party, like it would be so different if it was 30, and 30, right? It would be so much different if it was that, or even like 20, 35, something like that, where, this actually is something someone are voting for, as opposed to, okay, well, we're going to have this person just randomly out there to take, and it's kind of interesting, right? Because it seems like it's just literally taking votes away from, well, and of course I say this, the legit parties to a degree, but it's like, they're not legit parties. There are no legit parties anymore. It's all shenanigans for sure.
It is. They're all criminals and all crooks. And that brings me back to my topic tonight, is Social Security.
Yeah, that's a system, isn't it?
It's a Ponzi scheme that the government's been pulling off, a bigger Ponzi scheme than Bernie Madoff, man. I mean, they've been. I've got two examples. One of them is Ronnie Stinson, aka Animal. Really, really good friend of mine, good brother. I mean, we lived together, we ate together, we rode together, we spilt blood together. We did a lot of stuff together for years. And Animal passed away before he could draw Social Security. When he passed away, it'll be, I think, 3 years this May, I think it's May.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
And when he passed away, he was working for Coca-Cola, driving a tractor trailer and doing shuttle runs. And he passed away in a motorcycle accident. And he was, man, this guy, he lived every day. He was just a fun guy to be around. I mean, he just lit up the room when he came in, and he lived every day like it was his last. He did. He lived every day like that. And it was just a good person to be around, a fun person to be around.
Yeah.
And he wasn't old enough to receive Social Security before he passed away.
Yeah.
And then my second example is Lisa Hayes, AKA Cheerful. Now, I have never met a nicer, more friendly and kind woman on the planet in my lifetime than this lady. I've never, ever, ever, in all the years I knew her, ever heard a bad word come out of her mouth about any person or anything or any situation. She was just as nice to everybody as she's the nicest person you'd ever want to meet. Nicest person you'd ever want to meet. She passed away she and I were diagnosed 3 days apart of, having cancer.
Right.
And it took her life. And she was a great person, but she never collected her Social Security. So all the people that died or passed away before they collected their Social Security, where's that money? Where's the money? And neither one of them had, beneficiaries or spouses or children or things that would, where they would give them the benefits, once they passed away. So there still wasn't any Social Security payout to their families in any shape. But where's the money that they put into the system all this time? Okay. I don't get it, man. All the people that died, and they're saying that, they don't have any money and all this kind of stuff. Well, not only did you and I contribute to Social Security, but your employer did too.
Mm-hmm.
It totaled 15% of your total income before taxes. And don't get me started about taxes, because that's another government scam where they're taking your tax money and screwing you on that deal. But your employer donated into this pot too. So I've got a fishbowl. I started working when I was 15 years old. Okay. And I've got the check stubs to prove it. I started working when I was 15. Myself and my employer put money into this fishbowl. I'm 68 years old. I'll be 69 in about 45 days. Okay. And I worked until I was 67 years old, or 68. I think it was, I worked till I was 68. And so my employer and I were putting money in here. All this time we donated that money. And if you averaged only $30,000 over your working life,
mm-hmm.
that's close to $220,500 total. Okay. That you should have in your fishbowl. So did you see anywhere where the government had put any money into the fishbowl? The government
I have no idea.
The government doesn't put money into the Social Security system. They don't put money into your fishbowl. Okay. And they're also taking money out of your check for Medicare payments.
Why should they put money into that bowl for you?
Well, they don't have to, but you keep your hand out of my fucking bowl. This is my fishbowl and my money that myself and my employer have donated and saved in this fishbowl for me to live on later on. Now, I know it wasn't set up. No, it's not set up for people to live on and that be their only source of income.
Well, not only that, but you're not supposed to live to fucking 100 on it either. Like, that was never the goal. You know what I mean?
Right. What are you going to do with what's left? You're going to keep that if I die at 85?
Yeah, 100%.
If I died at 85 and I only collected my money for 20 years and I had 50 years worth of money in there, you're going to keep the rest of it?
No, 100%. Yeah. Because I managed that money.
You've stolen all the money that from the people that passed away before they could collect any of it. So you're stealing that money, and now you're gonna take the rest of my money after I pass away. If it's before, the amount of money I put in there runs out. We're talking about money that you and your employer put into a government bank to ensure that you and I, that we would have a retirement check from the money we put in, not the government. Now, they're calling the money we put in when we an entitlement, when we reach the age to take it back, like we're entitled to our own money.
Yeah.
Get out of here, man. That's my money.
No,
that's my money.
Nah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You took that money out of my pocket and we put it in the fishbowl. I took it out of my pocket and put it in the fishbowl. My employer says, let me help you out. And he put a percentage in there too of my salary. For for over 50 years. And then when I retire, you tell me the fishbowl's empty? You've stolen all of my money. You and I talk about this because you say, well, I'm working to pay your retirement. Yes, you are. And thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Every time you go to fucking Lonnie's or Lenny's or Jenny's or whoever the fuck.
It's Monty's.
In a different fucking hemisphere, I think, oh, man, I got to keep working because Dad needs them club beers, man.
Yeah, that's right. I got to have that cerveza, man.
Funny,
that's
man.
Right. The little umbrella drinks while I sit on the beach.
Can I just say this? A fucking Californian won that $1.9 billion payout, man. That was absolutely outrageous.
Sure it is.
Ain't that some shit? As
but you don't know if you don't play, you don't know. So if you calculate the future invested value of $4,500 per year, yours and your employer's contribution at a simple 5%. That's less than what the government pays on the money that it borrows.
Yeah.
Okay. 5%. After 49 years of working, you'd have $892,920.
Yeah, makes sense.
If you took out only 3% per year, you'd receive $26,700 per year, and it would last better than 30 years until you're 95. If you retired at 65, it would last. And as well as I do, the average age is not 95. The average age is probably 82 or some shit like that for people that. And that's if no interest was paid on the final amount on the deposit.
Just because you said that, let me look at the average age of Americans here real quick.
Okay. If you bought an annuity and it paid 4% per year, you'd have a lifetime income of $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
The folks in Washington have pulled off a bigger Ponzi scheme than Bernie Madoff ever thought about.
76.1 years is male, 81.1 years is female. And that is the United States specifically.
So 76 years old and you retire at 65. 11 years. 11 years. You're going to draw Social Security. You're going to draw Social Security for 11 years, and you paid in for 40 years.
We need to move to friggin' Japan or Hong Kong, man. They live to be 82 or 83 if they're males. So they got an extra 5 years on us. I don't know what it is, but something that is interesting about those countries, though, too, is that they work longer as well. There is there isn't as much of, from my understanding, this. Well, you know what it is. I'm 62, and that means screw all y'all. I'm retiring. They work until they physically can't anymore. Some die in the chair or die doing what they're doing. And now, granted, is that the kind of way they want to be? Oftentimes, they're not being forced to do this. They just are doing it out of pride. And
cost of living is high. Cost of living is high, and they have to keep working. And their children supplement their income. I talk to them. I talk to people in China and Japan, and then the young people are paying for their parents to still. The parents still work and they still supplement the parent incomes.
Well,
it's really actually pretty crazy. Yeah, entitlement, my foot. I paid cash for my Social Security insurance, and just because they borrowed the money for other government spending doesn't make my benefits some kind of charity or handout. It's my money. It's always been my money. My fishbowl ought to be fat, man. It ought to be fat. But it's empty because the government took all my money. Remember congressional benefits? Free health care, outrageous retirement packages, 67 paid holidays, 3 weeks paid vacation, unlimited paid sick days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that's welfare. And they have the nerve to call my Social Security retirement payments entitlements.
It definitely isn't, the most
Why did the government borrow from my fishbowl in the first place?
Because it's there and you're not using it, so why not?
It was supposed to be in a locked box, not part of the general fund.
That doesn't matter, though. You know what I mean? Like,
why doesn't it? Why doesn't it? It doesn't matter to anybody.
Because
it doesn't matter to anybody. And they're telling me that they're going to run out of money? No.
Yeah. Well, I would say this. I think one of the really difficult parts about this is the fact that you might have some folks who don't know well enough how to, I don't want to say cheat the system, but they don't know well enough how to benefit from the system in a way that seems like overly profitable. So instead, right, it's like, man, this all sucks and everything sucks and this is bad. But some people are living the freaking dream off of this system. And I think, honestly, and I'm not being facetious, one of the problems is we haven't figured it out yet. Right. I mean, it seems like this system is very taxing and very crappy and all this and that. But also, too, because we don't know how to game the system well enough for it to benefit us more so than it be something that we bitch about instead. Like, you know.
I mean, I get it. I get my check once a month. OK, my benefit check once a month. But, you're going to tell me that I don't deserve it, or it's an entitlement, or it's a handout or something. You stole my money. You stole my money. And if you'd have left that money in there and the interest that it should have paid on it, the fishbowl would be overflowing.
Well, keep it up or I'll steal some more, okay? Maybe that's what they're thinking in the back of their mind. You know what I mean?
Hell, they're printing money off that they don't have. They can't back it up now.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It doesn't seem like
and since the elections didn't go the way they thought they would, it's going to be even more screwed up. But, you voted for it, so you get what you vote for.
Sure. I mean, hey, 100%. Yeah.
They're not going to make they ain't going to make no changes.
Don't want no trouble.
Don't want no trouble.
That's it, man. Right. So,
yeah. That's ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
That's a bullshit. That's ridiculous, man. And what are you going to do? Can't do nothing about it. Can't do anything about it.
Thanks, Obama. No, I'm just messing with you.
No, thanks to any of them. All these years. I mean, it started years ago, with people putting money in the fishbowl and them taking it out as fast as we put it in there. Oh, he doesn't need it right now. All those years, he doesn't need it. Well, they didn't need it either.
I mean, that's fair, right?
Think of 330 million people in the United States.
Yeah.
330 million people.
I wonder if all of those folks are signed up for Social Security. Like, is that what we're talking about? Like the census people who actively pay into that?
I don't know. I don't know how many, but you can bet your ass there's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot. And there's a lot that die and don't ever get to collect their Social Security.
Yeah.
And that's really sad. That's really sad.
It does kind of suck.
Because where's that money go and where's it go and who tracks it? Does it just go into a general slush fund and they just take out what they need?
Maybe. Shit. I don't know, man.
Well, nobody's ever going to ask.
Fair.
So, it's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And I can't believe that the knuckleheads in New York reelected that same governor. Golly, man. How stupid are you people?
We see. I don't know, man.
And the lady that's the Secretary of State in Arizona is running for governor, and she's the one that controls the election. The Secretary of State of the state of Arizona controls the election.
Oh, well.
And you're running for governor. Isn't that a coincidence?
Yeah. I was going to say, that sounds... And
the machines are busted.
Well.
Yeah. Isn't that a coincidence?
Maybe.
It's all kind of falling into place now.
I mean, that's kind of, right? Like, kind of looks like that, but kind of not. And I don't know, man. It's a like, as my friend would say, it's a wackadoodle system as it is. So, I don't know. But,
yeah, it is. Watch for crime to spike, prices to spike. inflation to spike.
Yeah, that's something that you look at too, right? Is when things get more expensive and people can't purchase and buy and all of this, like it. I mean, people like, crime will go up when they can't, or there aren't things for them like to do. Not necessarily that's crime, but like also when jobs go down and all of that. Like, I don't know, man. It's kind of wild. So,
and there's no punishment for the criminals. In most states, there's no punishment for the criminals, so they get away with doing whatever they want to do. So that's an enterprise now, man. Crime is an enterprise. It's a business. It's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
I'd say it's pretty different.
Some of the shop owners that are shooting back now, and that's pretty cool. Where they've taken it upon themselves to protect their shop and their livelihood and all that kind of stuff, and they've started shooting back, and people aren't ready for that. So, but it's just like Metro said, people don't have the stomach to clean this up. They don't have the stomach for what it's going to take to clean this up and how nasty it's going to get in the streets.
It's something that I think I don't know how radical it would be, but I also think, to his point, it would be pretty difficult, right? It would definitely take a few, I don't want to say stern actions, but it feels as though that's kind of the direction it would kind of point, right? Where you're looking at that and it's like, I don't know, man. Have some people get beat down, and that's not what you want, right? Like you really don't want things to be done in a way that is super violent, because then you think, okay, that's a very slippery slope, right? Because let's say a problem is resolved with violence. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, then that gets people into the mindset, well, violence solves issues, and it's like, no. That's not the way we want to be, right? So,
right.
I would say just got to be real careful with what, like how you go about it, how you function, like what are we doing and all that. So just
Well, these cats down here have started picking on the police. Some of the indigenous people and some of the illegal immigrants from other countries, if you can imagine, like Colombia or Venezuela or people like that, are coming in here and they're beating up the police or shooting them and stuff like that. So now we have a curfew.
Oh, do you really?
In the city that I live in, there's a curfew from 9 at night to 5 o'clock in the morning.
No shit.
Don't let them catch you on the street, because if they do, it's going to be really bad for you. It's going to be real bad for you.
Yeah,
it's going to be real bad for you. And they don't care where you're going. They don't care where you're coming from or where you're going. You don't get out on the street after 9 o'clock. Of course, my question was the strip club over there at the other end of town that doesn't open till 3 o'clock and it's open till 2 in the morning. What do the girls do? Go home at 9?
Yes.
Hey baby, you get to work from 3 to 9 and shake your money maker and do the best you can. And in that time frame.
Well, but I would say maybe they'd have their overnight clients book ahead. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we got a curfew. Oh no, I can't leave. Well, I guess I get the overnight rate. So.
Oh gosh.
I
guess so. I asked a couple of guys yesterday. We were sitting down on the beach solving world issues. These two guys I met from Canada. Yeah. And I asked both of them, I said, well, what happens? And they're like, oh man, I never thought of that. And like, well, think about it.
If you go to McFly, right?
Yeah,
you're at the strip club and it's 8:30 and it's like, oh man, I'm at my fucking wit's end here, man. Like I got to finish. And it's like, you better fucking hurry, man.
Yeah. What do I do next? Yeah.
Jeez, dude.
That was just a general question for the Canadian. Sure. Yeah, and that's pretty funny.
A general question, eh? So
yeah, exactly.
What are they going to do about that? So
yeah, one guy goes, I don't know, man. He goes, I wouldn't go anyway, but he was he was a firefighter for 30 years.
Oh yeah.
And I said, well, yeah, you ran into burning buildings, man. You know, you're pretty much out of your mind anyway. So he's like, yeah, okay, I'll accept that.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say out of his mind. Like, it takes a.
No, he's not out of his mind. He's a really good guy.
No. I'm not. No, that was never an argument. The point being is, it takes a really special person to actively, be willing to sacrifice themselves for others, right? And I mean, and it's no small thing going into that sort of career, lifestyle, etc. And I mean, I would say it's not glorious, right? You don't get paid riches of gold and jewels and all that. Right. It just is what some folks feel they have to do, and if they can get satisfaction out of that, that's amazing, right? We really appreciate folks who do that. So
I think he was a captain when he retired 30 years in the Calgary Canadian Fire Department. So,
yeah, I got you.
Because I was asking him, do they have ladder trucks and pumpers and aerials? Did they have those names and use the same? He said, yeah, it's a similar system. They all use the same terminology.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, same stuff like that. So he said it's not very different at all. So
they're wild now, man. I mean, like how intricate those big trucks are, or the fire engines, right?
Right.
They're massive and they look ridiculously high tech. So.
Yeah. And we were talking about people, driving and not getting out of their way when they hear the truck coming and the sirens going on and stuff like that. And he said, yeah, he said he doesn't miss it.
Oh, sure.
He doesn't miss it at all. So,
well, yeah. Interestingly enough, I would say a lot of folks who retire, unless they just absolutely love their job, they wouldn't miss it at all, ever. So,
well, if you're doing something like that, that's spur of the moment exciting, you kind of miss that a little bit.
Well, here's the deal.
You kind of miss the buzzer going off and you going to something that you don't know what you've got till you get there. And it could be a barbecue grill out back that's on fire. Or it could be a damn 12-story building that's on fire or something, So.
Well, yes, but remember, excitement does not always equal good, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because I'll tell someone at work, I'll tell people at work and say, "Oh, that's exciting," and they say, "No, it isn't." And I tell them, excitement does not mean positive or negative. It just means emotions, right, that are heightened, to a degree. But he said,
"Well, he said he loves his life down here." Yeah,
I bet everything's cheap and he doesn't have to deal with fires all day long. So
yeah, he's got a nice house out, north of town and overlooks the ocean, and yeah. So he said, "I love my life," and I'm like, "Cool, man. That's very cool."
No, I was going to say that's great, and that's something too where he's able to enjoy it and live as the youngins would say their best life. So
yeah, he turns it. He's funny because we were talking about birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking him about holidays in Canada.
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving?" And he said, "Yes, but it's before
Boxing Day or something like that shit.
Before the United States Thanksgiving."
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." I said, "But you do the same stuff?" He's like, "Yeah." And I said, "What about Christmas?" And he said, "Yeah, it's the same way. I think it's a few days before when the United States does theirs." And so his birthday is December 31st.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, your birthday's December 31st. My birthday's January 2nd. I said, we're going to have to act up on the first of the year.
Right. Yeah. Just go ballistic.
Have to go out of our minds. Yeah. But, the first, man, we're both going to have to go nuts. And he's like, I'm in. I said, how old will you be? He said, 80.
Jeez,
I said, there ain't no way, man. There ain't no way. I said, 50? He said, I wish. And I said, wow. Wow. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun talking to him.
I was going to say, I would assume that if you keep yourself healthy and active and all that stuff, you're going to probably look younger than you would. Now, granted, I also would assume in some instances where if you go too hard, you'll kind of overshoot it, right? And then look like a raisin. And then just when you're
you look like a raisin.
You're
that's
right.
funny.
You're just because like here's the problem: having like a bunch of muscles and stuff like that, or even having fat, right? Remember, skin stretches. So if you don't maintain that sort of a thing and don't do it well, then you're gonna look like a purse. It's not gonna be good. So
that's right. That's right. As long as it's like a Michael Kors or an Agner purse, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. That is pretty wild. Well, and speaking of birthdays, mine's coming up here in the near future. So I'm looking to.
Oh, yours is a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to figure out kind of what's going on, what to do, and who's
how old will you be? How old will you be?
I'll be.
You're gonna have to play the crickets in there.
Yeah, I'll be 35. So
35,
wow.
And you're single.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
35 and single.
Keep opening up doors.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is very true. So
it's funny the way I used to describe people. I'd say, well, yeah, he's 35 years old. He's got all his teeth and no tattoos. And people would go, what? And I'd say, yeah, it's like.
I don't find like that is very difficult to do, but I'm guessing I'm wrong.
When you live in Tennessee, sometimes it's hard to find somebody that's been to the dentist.
Yeah, well, that's probably very fair, but also too, it's like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's something that's kind of interesting to think about. Like, I don't know if it's just upbringing or people get fed up with it or what, but I would find I'm assuming people are relatively polarized when it comes to I would say dentistry in general, because hey, do you go, do you not, do you go every 6 months, do you go never, has it been years, all of that. And it's something that a lot of folks that if you talk to them when they're older, they'll say one of the things that you probably should do is take care of your teeth, right? So,
right.
And hilariously enough, there are studies that show now that you very well, it could be associated with possible other diseases if you don't take care of them. So it's kind of wild.
Yep. I went and had my teeth cleaned 2 weeks ago.
How was that? Did they, did they
just like in the United States? The only difference is this guy doesn't speak English, but he does say one word: spit, spit.
There you go, man.
Spit. Yeah. Washes it all in there. Cleaned them, buffed them, got the rake out, and was getting in between and making sure everything was looking good and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Got ready to leave. How much? $20.
That's just absolutely silliness,
$20 for a teeth clean.
Well,
now he didn't do any X-rays, but still, he did he had the buffer, and he put the polish on there and all the stuff. $20. I was like, man, it's incredible, dude. Man. He said, see you in 3 months.
3 months.
And I said, yes, you will.
For $20
for $20. I mean, what the hell, man? You go once a month for $20.
I'll see you tomorrow. Shit.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yep. Just like that, man. $20 bill and you're out the door.
Yeah, that is definitely something that's kind of interesting. Looking at that, I guess that kind of juxtaposition, right? Where it's like, oh man, it took, was going to cost me X amount of thousands of dollars to get my teeth cleaned or go under or whatever, and it's just $20 for a dental cleaning, man. Like, that's kind of silly. Now, granted, with insurance the way it is now, we probably pay more than $20 for a deductible. No, we get like 2 free, I think, with our what do you call it, our plan. So
but your plan is a monthly plan. So you're paying money.
No, I don't pay anything for it.
Okay.
So, yeah, when it's like insurance is fucking crazy. It's like, no, I just picked the right fucking job and I don't have to pay for it. So,
okay. There you go.
Lucky ma. So,
lucky you.
Yeah, man. That is it. It just is one of those things. Like, some days it's awesome, lucky, amazing, and great. Actually, most days it's like that. And then some it's like, oh man, like, dang, you know.
Really?
But that's just life, right? Like,
yep.
That's life in general. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell. Tickle the like button. Let us know down below what you want to see in the near future. We're in the 70s, folks. We've been doing this for a hot minute. We took a little tiny hiatus due to health, but we're back in action, coming at you.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, back for the holiday season. It's coming and it's going to be wild. Different kind of holidays are coming up this year for sure. Because
your birthday usually falls a week before Thanksgiving, doesn't it?
Thanksgiving,
usually.
Yeah,
the 17th, because Thanksgiving's usually 23rd, 24th, 25th,
right,
something
right.
like that.
And yeah, so it's cool, celebrate birthday, and then next week it's like, okay, cool. I guess we got a short week. So there it is.
Yeah,
but. I'm going to have to plan for this year, when it comes to people taking off for the holidays, because this year, how the puzzle pieces are falling, or how the cards are falling in this proverbial house, is some guy is utilizing maybe 9 days of PTO, and guess how many he's getting? Actually, I think he's using maybe 8. 17.
Is he connecting them with holidays?
Yes, with Thanksgiving or with Christmas, the way it's falling on top of New Year's, it's absolutely freaking bananas. The level in which, like, this is kind of falling, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I have to plan on this for next year, because if not, I'm screwed. Like, that's just,
Christmas is it a Monday this year? Sunday or Monday?
Hold on.
Because I was reading the other day, here they'll move a holiday here to encompass more days off.
Christmas is a Sunday this year.
Okay. They're moving Christmas here to Monday.
Cool.
They'll celebrate Christmas on the 26th, so that you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Gotcha.
You have 4 days to be able to celebrate that holiday. And they'll do New Year's the same way here. New Year's a big deal here. Yeah, New Year's a big deal here. So I don't think Thanksgiving's that big a deal here, but Christmas and New Year's, they'll move that holiday back a day, so that they get that many more days of celebration in, and everybody's all together and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy here, because a town of 40,000, and they said it turns into a town of 200,000.
Oh my Lord!
For those 4 days. Oh, right. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, don't go anywhere close to downtown, or the beach, or down by the ocean, or any of that kind of stuff, because everybody's in town, and they're in town here for that reason, is they can celebrate their holidays.
Sure. Well, I mean, I was going to say, like, I guess it wouldn't be too terrible if people don't move around and don't have places to go, like, just kind of chill. But some people love it, man. Some people get into it and they're enjoying it, and it's exciting, as you would say. And
they have parades and everything down here, man. Bands are playing and parades, and
yeah, dude, they're all about it.
All that, yeah. They just celebrated. Some people, it's actually Day of the Deceased, but they call it Day of the Dead.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
They say it. That it just sounds a little morbid, Oh, we're celebrating the Day of the Dead, like we're glad they're gone, instead of Day of the Deceased. But they celebrate that, and they drug that out for 4 days too. And I mean, this city was out of control. It was crazy busy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say any reason to have a holiday. Why not? You know?
Right.
Well,
right.
Especially like in, I mean, several other countries, man. You have, I mean, they just go bananas.
But these cats are working 7 days a week down here too.
Oh,
I mean, they work every day.
Gotcha.
I mean, there's very few that take off on Sunday, and they're very religious. They go to church, but they'll either go in the mornings and then go to work, or they'll go to, nighttime.
I was going to say, go to Saturday night mass, right? Because isn't the religion down there Catholicism the largest one? I would think.
Yeah, it's they find the time to go and worship, but everybody's working every day, man. They're working every day. So
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, Sundays you can ride down the road and see people on top of buildings and stuff, and they're working and building and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, people are moving and grooving all the time, man. Well, and that kind of also lends itself more to the thought there of, what do you call it? Minimum wage, right? Because if they take that into consideration of, no, this is every day, right, versus only 5 or 22 days out of a week, or out of a month, then that's different. That actually is a little different. So it's kind of wild, but.
And the minimum wage here is $425 a month. Right,
and that's working, like you said, just about every day, if not 100% every day. So.
Right.
Because
anytime we have anybody do anything for us, like we've got a handyman that comes in and he'll do like electrical work, or he might wire something, or he might hang a light fixture or something for us or something like that. We usually overpay him because we don't know what the scale is.
Oh, yeah.
But when we ask people, they say, well, that's a $10 job, or that's a $20 job, or something like that. And it's like, sometimes we have to give him money and he goes and gets the parts and comes back, and those kind of things.
Right.
So
makes sense,
But we try to take care of the people that take care of us. So,
Right. Well, I mean, got to, especially if they're going to be people you're going to interact with quite a bit, and whatnot.
And you rely on them for a lot of things too.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Yeah, this is a different. It's a really different culture down here. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt.
They got the World Cup soccer tournament coming up like next week or something, and Ecuador's playing in it.
Oh, are they really? I bet they're going crazy.
Yeah. They're everybody's pretty nutty down here right now. About soccer.
pretty jazzed up, man. I bet. I'd be going bananas, dude. That'd be crazy.
Soccer shirts on and all that kind of stuff everywhere they go. So, yeah,
just going.
It was funny because I was flipping through the channels on the satellite TV.
Yeah,
and I found the Titans game. Sunday night. Yeah, and it's like, oh, there's Tennessee and Kansas City. Click. I turned it off.
Well, can't please everybody. So
right. And Houston Astros won the World Series.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it like the second time in like 3 or 4 years, something like that?
No, 2019, I think, the last time they won.
So
yeah. So
last 3 years. Yeah. Wow, that's called a dynasty right there. They're doing it.
Yeah, Dusty Baker he's the oldest manager, I think, to ever win a World Series.
Really, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was. I think it was 2 games each.
Okay.
So they played 4. They played 4 games.
Yeah.
So it's the best of 7, and they had a man on base. Houston did, and I think it was Alvarez knocked a 450-foot homer over the center field fence in the 6th inning of Game 5. Bro. Yeah. I mean, he jacked that ball, man, and that pretty much took care of him.
Interesting.
And I think they won 4-2 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we ain't mad at you.
Yeah, Houston Astros, world champs. baseball.
I was going to say it would be quite the shocker there, you know.
It's funny though, because you can't get the only logoed shirts or sweatshirts or hats or things like that down here is New York or LA.
Yeah, you were mentioning that. Yeah,
that's the only two. That's the only two logos you can get down here. Is you can get New York or you can get LA, and maybe it's because it's coming on both sides of the United States.
I mean,
maybe they ship out both sides. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, those are the only two logos. They don't have any other. Now they have. I saw a Lakers shirt the other day, or a Lakers Los Angeles Lakers sweatshirt. But there you go again with Los Angeles. So, but I haven't, and I've seen a Jordan jersey, Michael Jordan jersey from years ago. That they had.
I was going to say that might be something that it was one of those. Oh well, we sold out of most of these, but we're going to move it to somewhere else. You know.
Yeah, we might. That's probably 10 years ago when Mike. You know.
I mean, hey, it could be.
Had that shirt 10 years or something. Michael Jordan. So
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. But the theft of the Social Security money, nobody will ever ask.
You know, it's something where, like I said, if people are either they're too tired or they got other stuff to do, or maybe it's just something that they haven't thought about yet. Right, and maybe we're getting closer to the time to where it is time to think about it. You know, it is time to
maybe
look at it.
Maybe it hadn't affected them yet. I don't know. Maybe it hadn't affected them. We'll see.
Well,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing to look at too is like maybe they do have a decent thing going for them, and it's okay. Like it's not that big of a deal to them, or maybe they've. Like I said, or actually even like you mentioned in the beginning of or top of the hour was, it's not meant to supplement, or it's not meant to just be your full Monty, right? Like you're supposed to utilize it on top of other things, and that's just difficult to do, man. Like
but how many companies have pensions or have retirement programs where if you stay with them for 20 years, you're going to get a check every month? Or there's very few. That have that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So people don't have a pension to fall back on. So they use Social Security, But I will say the upshot is the cost of living adjustment, the COLA, COLA, the cost of living adjustment next year, because of inflation being so high, the cost of living adjustment to the Social Security benefits is higher than it has been in like 40 years.
Yeah,
it will be. Yeah. Will be in 2023. Everybody will get a bigger raise.
Oh, yeah.
In 2023 on their Social Security checks because of inflation and because of the cost of living.
Sure.
So, yeah, you give me a bigger increase and it gets wiped out by the administration's pricing index and shit. Unbelievable. Yeah, and usually anytime there's a cost of living adjustment, then Medicare raises their premiums.
Right.
So so you got to pay them out of your cost. So you don't get that big a cost of living.
I was going to say nothing's free here. Okay, so
No, I'm not saying free. They just take a big slice of the pie, so you don't get to have the whole pie, and you don't get no ice cream.
Well, you don't get no Coke either with that attitude. So
well, okay.
Hey, you don't get a no Coke.
I'm getting some cola. So
touche.
That's right.
Salesman, touche.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's right.
I was going to say, we have to end on your high note of you one-upping me. So is there anything else you want to talk about in our last few minutes here?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I just hope America's ready for the stuff that's going to go down. It's going to be ugly.
Much like you said in our previous conversations, not on here, but maybe a little bit on here, but it's November 9th, 2022. Got 2 years, man.
Right.
And then we'll see what happens. Because I don't think I don't think it's going to be Grandpa Joe. I definitely don't think that's going to happen.
Now people can legally announce they're running for a position in 2024.
Right.
If they did it before this election, there were certain restrictions where they could only say this and only say that and only collect money for this or only collect money for that. So now it's wide open now for the 2024 circus presidential election. That's going to be such a cluster.
Circus, you know.
It was funny because the guy that was running against Ron DeSantis asked him in a debate, if you win the governorship, are you going to serve the full 4 years? And he wouldn't answer him. Because he can't answer him. But he can't say yes or no because he's going to run for president in 2024, man. So he's only going to be 2 years into his governor's 4-year term.
Are they trying to trap him, you think? Well, that's why they're
this
asking
guy
that?
was. This guy's a jerk. This guy's a jerk, and he was trying to, he wanted the truth. And DeSantis just looked at the camera and just kept looking at the camera and never even acted like the guy asked him the question at all. He wouldn't say yes or no.
So he's trying to feel it out to see, hey, are you gonna,
The people knew the answer. They know he'd be a great presidential candidate. Or Nikki Haley or Carrie Lake or Ted Cruz.
Okay.
Or, somebody like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
So we'll see. We'll see who the Republicans pull out. Hopefully it's not Trump. Hopefully he doesn't run.
Yeah.
Egotistical, arrogant son of a bitch. I hope he doesn't run because he's just a complete distraction.
Right.
Complete and total distraction from America and everything going on in it.
Sure. I mean, and sometimes that's what people want, and sometimes that's what people think they want or need, and it's just like, come on, man,
Well, he did it. He did it and was there and distracted everybody and distracted everything and switched everything up. Some for the good, some for the not so good. That they don't tell you about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So we'll see. We've got 2 years that we can go through all of this crap again for the next election. All the name calling and the backbiting and the lying and the thieving and the hitting somebody in the head with a hammer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me, dude. Like,
whatever.
Too tired?
Whatever.
That's me. I'm just tired of
That's
it.
it.
So, all right. Well, awesome stuff. Appreciate you coming back on. Glad you're feeling a lot better. Thank you all for joining us today. And thank you all for watching the Life General podcast here with Tom and Jay. And we're going to catch you all in the next episode.
See you.